Hello, and welcome to the video on how to create the game Rock, Paper, Scissors on Google Action Console. Today I will be building an action for Smart Display with interactive canvas. Here's what it will look like on the Smart Display. Before you start, there will be some environments that you will need to download, such as Node.js, an IDE, or even text editors, whichever one you'd like to choose. Next, I will show you the finished game in the test section of the Action Console. Your finished game should look similar to this at the end. To start the test, click Talk to My Test app. Then you can either click Rock, Paper, Scissors or type Rock, Paper, Scissors in the text box. In this case, I'm going to choose Scissors. And it looks like it is the same, so to say yes, you can play again, and to say no, you can stop the game. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to choose rock this time. I'm going to type it in. And it looks like it's another draw. I'm going to stop the test using stop, or you could press the cancel button as well. The first thing you'll need to do in order to get started is download the npm for the command line. And to do that, you can go through Node.js. A quick Google search will lead them to your website. Once it's finished downloading, open your command line. Once you have your command line open, type in npm-g install firebase-tools. Then wait for that to finish downloading. Once when it is finished downloading, type in firebase -- version to make sure you are on the most up-to-date version, and then also do Firebase login to log into your Firebase account. Once that is finished, we can start with the next process, and that is to check your Google permission settings. To do that, we go to myaccount.google.com/activity-controls. From there, go down to include voice and audio recordings, and then say turn on as well. Everything else should be already enabled for you. Next step is to set up project and agent. To do that, we need to open the Action Console first. Click on New Project. Once open, it will ask you to accept the terms and services. Then it will ask you to create a new project, and the new project is going to be Rock, Paper, Scissors. Make sure that it is lowercase because it is case sensitive. Once the new project is created, it will ask you what type of project you want to make it, and the type is conversational. Just wait for it to add all the Firebase resources and everything like that, and from then we can move on. Once the project is fully finished being built, we can move on to customizing it. And the first thing we need to customize is the interactive canvas feature. Go to Deploy, then under Categories, select Games and Fun. Scroll down a little bit further and enable interactive canvas. Then make sure you press save to save your progress. Next, we need to create a Dialogflow agent. So to do that, we need to go over and click develop. Then click add first action. From there, create custom build. From there, log into your Google account. Once your Google account is selected, Dialogflow will ask you to allow and trust your Google account. Then on Dialogflow's website, it will ask you to accept their terms of service. Then it will ask you to create an agent called Rock, Paper, Scissors, and you will create the agent. And after that, it's all finished. After creating the agent, the next step is to open back the command prompt and input the following text. The first thing you'll want to type is mkdir space rock dash paper dash scissors. Then you'll want to change the directory using cd space rock dash paper dash scissors. Then start up your Firebase using Firebase space init. It will ask you if you would like to proceed. Press Y for yes. Then scroll down using the up and down arrows to functions and hosting. Then I'll ask you to selection options, use an existing project, then click on rock, paper, scissors. Then I'll ask you which language you would like to use and choose JavaScript. Then press no and press yes with npm. And wait a bit until that finishes downloading. Then it will ask you what directory you would like and choose public. And lastly, it will ask you to configure as a single page app and you press no. After that, you are ready to move on to the next step when the Firebase initialization is complete. The next step is to type in cd space functions, then do npm space install space actions dash on dash google space dash dash save, and wait for that to finish downloading. When that is finished, you can change the directory back to the normal rock, paper, scissors. Once that is done, we can close out of the command prompt and open up the index.js file and replace the current content in it with the new content that is given to us. Be sure to save your progress as you go with the code. Now we are ready to boot up our Firebase for the first time, so we must type in the command prompt Firebase deploy. It might take a couple of minutes, so be patient with it. Once the Firebase is being finished deployed, go over and open up the Firebase console. Click on the project Rock, Paper, Scissors, then under the Development tab on the left, go to Functions, and under Functions there should be something under there called Fulfillment. Under the trigger there should be a website. Copy that URL link. Then go back to the dialog flow console, click under fulfillment, and then scroll down and enable webhook, and with that URL, paste that URL, then save the link. And here's me showing you how to copy and paste it and save the link. Once that is done, go over to integrations, then click the Google Assistant, then go to auto preview changes and enable that, and click the test button to go to the action console.
Now that we have the action console, we are ready to start the test. And to start the test, what you'll need to do is click Talk to My Test app, and then it should prompt you with some text. Unfortunately, that's all you can do at the moment, so press cancel to end the test. Once we are done with the test app, we can move on to the next step. And the next step is to change the configuration of the Firebase hosting. To do that, we need to open up the firebase.json file and copy the text that you see on screen into the old text. Essentially, what we're doing here is adding the headers code to the firebase.json file. And make sure you save before you exit out. Next step on your list is to open up your command prompt one more time. Then type in cd space public, then mkdir space css, then type in mkdir space images, then mkdir space js, then get out of the directory using cd space dot dot. Up next, we need to create a style sheet, and to do that, we need to open up our text editor and create a new file. Then copy the code that is given to us and paste it into the blank text file. And be sure to save as soon as you are done making the file, and the file name is going to be index.css. It has to be under the directory of public, then CSS. Once again, make sure you save. Up next, we need to create an HTML file that is already currently existing. So what we will do is copy the HTML text that is given to us and replace the current HTML text. Be sure to save the file when you have replaced the text. Once that is done, we can move on to the next step, and that next step being creating a JavaScript file. Just copy and paste the code that is given to you. Up next, we must configure default welcome format. To do so, open up the Dialogflow console, then go to Intents and click Default Welcome Intent, then scroll all the way down to Fulfillment and enable webhook call for this intent. Up next, we need to implement the default welcome intent handler. To do that, open up the index.js file and copy and paste the code directly on your screen. And do the same thing with the index.html file. Then open back up the main.js file, and under the to-do, write your code here, copy and paste the new text. Then we are ready to boot up our Firebase again, so open up your command prompt and type in Firebase space deploy and let that run until it says Firebase initialization is complete. Once it is complete, the next step is to go back to your action console and test the interactive game with more features. So to start, once again, press the Talk to My Test app. From there, it will either ask you to type in rock, paper, scissors or click rock, paper, scissors. We are not fully finished with the app being developed, so for now, just press cancel. The next step is to define each hand for rock, paper, scissors. Then up next, we need to open up the Dialogflow console and head over to the entities column. From there, select that we need to create a new entity. The name of the entity is going to be user-choice. Then under click here to edit entry, click the first one and type in rock. And then do the same thing with paper and scissors. You can put in synonyms as well. And here is me demonstrating how to input all of the information. Once you are all finished, click Save on the top right next to User Choice. Next up is the dialog flow console defining the intent of rock, paper, and scissors. To do that, we need to go back to dialog flow console. On the left side, click Intents and then click Create Intent. The name of the intent is going to be show. Under training phrases, select Add Training Phrase, then select the first one and type in rock, then paper, then scissors. Keep in mind that it is case sensitive, so if you do a capital, it will have a different output. Once you are done putting in the training phrases, scroll all the way down to fulfillment and enable the webhook. Then when all of that is finished, click the save button on the top right. Up next, we need to open up the index.js file, and under the to do, write your code here. There is more code that needs to be copied and pasted down below. On screen, you can see me copying and pasting the desired text in the right spot. And after that, on the heels of that code I just pasted, there is more that needs to be copied and pasted as well. Once you are done copying and pasting both of the desired text inside of the document, make sure to save it. Now we are ready to move on to our next step. The next step is to open up the main.js file one more time, and under the to do, write your code here. There should be more code that you need to copy and paste right under it. Once that is done, be sure to save the progress. Then, while still having that main.js file open, under the display the result comment, there's going to be more code that you need to copy and paste. And on the screen, I am showing you where to display that text. And don't forget to save when you are done copying and pasting the text. Once that is finished, you are good to open up your command prompt again and type in Firebase space deploy. Wait a couple minutes until the Firebase is ready to be deployed. Once that is finished being deployed, we are ready to run another test on the Action Console. If you haven't yet refresh your test, press the refresh button, then press Talk to My Test app to get started.
Then it will ask you to choose between rock, paper, or scissors. You can either type it in or you could input on the image. In this case, I'm going to pick scissors, and this time the end result should be displayed. And then press cancel whenever you are done with the test. When that's all finished up, we are ready to move on to the next step, and that is to add on to the rest of the program. The only thing that's left to do is to ask if you would like to play again or end the conversation. And to do that, what we must do is to open up the dialog flow console one more time, head on over back to intents, then under show, right click on show and press yes, then do the same thing again, right click on show and press no. Then click the intent show no to go into it and customize more. Scroll down to responses. Under text responses, you're going to want to type in thank you for playing, period, see you again. And you'll see me copying and pasting that over to the text response. And when that's all finished up, turn on the set this intent as end conversation, and be sure to save it once finished. Once we saved, we can go back to the intent menu, and now we need to go click on show-yes, go all the way down to fulfillment, and enable fulfillment, and then when that's done, enable webhook. Then save. Up next, you're going to want to open up the index.js file again and copy and paste the desired text on screen. You're going to want to copy and paste the text under the to-do, write your text here. Then once that's done, be sure to save your progress. From here, our next step is to do the same thing in main.js. So the code that you see on screen, go and copy and paste that under the initialize the screen comment. When that's done, be sure to save your progress one more time from the main.js file. Up next, we're going to need to add an end intent. To do that, we need to open up the Dialogflow console one more time. From there, navigate to intent. Then under create intent, you're going to create a new one called end. It does not matter if it is capitalized or not. Then make your way down to training phrases. Type in end, stop, and by. When that's done, make your way over to the responses. When that is finished, copy and paste the desired text into the response and enable set this intent as the end conversation. When that's all done, be sure to save your progress. From here, we are ready to move on to the last step, and that is to open up the command line and type in Firebase space deploy one last time. It will take a few minutes to deploy, but when it is finished being deployed, you are ready to move on to the test. Once again, press refresh button if you haven't yet. Then go over to the Talk to My Test app, click or type rock, paper, or scissors. Then it will tell you if you have won or lost. In this case, I tied, so I want to play again, so I'm going to type in yes. Then it will ask me again to type it or click the image. This time I chose paper and I lost, so I'm going to press cancel to end the test. That concludes a tutorial on how to create rock, paper, scissors on Google Action Consoles.